Good evening, everyone. We're hoping for a better outcome this time. I appreciate you being patient with me, and I apologize for not being able to finish the podcast on Wednesday night. I was having some serious technical difficulties with the hopes that I don't uh, have the same technical difficulties tonight. But one of the things I've learned about when you're trying to deliver some information that could be important to many people is that you run into a few glitches. Most of the time it's human error, but this time it was technical through my internet service. So tonight I'm going to try to do it one more time. And I thank you all in advance for your support. I thank Design Diva Studios for assisting me with the podcast on the back end as well as the front end. Greatly appreciate it. It's wonderful when you have people that support something that you are very passionate about. And here I am, after 2 years of trying to get it together, I finally got it in order. I'm going to do the best that I can with the hope that whatever I say on my podcast, as well as any video that I may upload, is a benefit to all the listeners. And I thank you in advance for your support throughout the years and your inspiration for all the things that I have done and plan on doing. My podcast, The Rhythm of Leadership, was created for men mostly, but ladies play a key role in all that we do as men. And we're greatly appreciative of you all for what you do and the things that you say that support us and encourage us. And that's what this podcast is about. One of the things that I'm grateful for is being a leader. I consider myself a leader, being involved in the organizations that I'm involved in and placed in leadership roles, being a leader as a father, coaching the flag football league, leadership positions where we are highly regarded and highly respected by those whom you lead. But often there are times when you have to check yourself. And that's me. I have to check myself every now and then to make sure that as a leader, I am acting accordingly, leading by example. That's what they call it. In this particular podcast, we're going to explore building emotional intelligence as a male leader. For all those who know me personally, I've been writing poetry for about 25 years now. I always celebrate my poetry anniversary every October 24th. I started 25 years, October 24th, the year 2000. So now it's 25 years later. So with that being said, it's only good or fair, or whatever words you want to use, that I start off my podcast with poetry. Flowing like this, here it goes. Every man carries a rhythm inside him, but leadership requires more than a beat. It requires presence. It requires patience. It requires the courage to feel without folding. Welcome to the Rhythm of Leadership. Today we tune in to emotional intelligence, the power to understand yourself before you try to lead others. What is emotional intelligence? Let me tell you, when I first heard the term emotional intelligence, I was thinking, well, what does that mean? Does it mean that your emotions are unintelligent? What does that mean? Don't pay me no mind. I'm just telling you, I didn't really understand the term because, of course, it's not something that I use, not something that I go around saying you're unemotionally intelligent or something like that. But what emotional intelligence really means, emotional intelligence is not about being soft. It's about being stable. It's not about losing your fire. It is knowing when to turn the heat down so you will not burn the entire house down. As men, we have been conditioned to lead with silence, grit, or pressure. But the strongest leaders don't numb their emotions, they navigate them. To give you an example of what that actually means, A lot of times when we take on these leadership roles, we forget that we are human, that we have emotions that need to be controlled. We need to take a moment and think about ourselves and how we're going to conduct ourselves, how we're going to show good character when we lead others. And there comes times when we have to sit back and reevaluate us and be aware that we are human and the things that we say and do are very important and impactful. So, don't think just because you're in a leadership role that you don't have flaws or have moments when you like, look, I need a break. I'm stressed out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, but I don't want to insult anybody. And I don't want to be a failure as a leader. So we're going to look at 4 key insights involving leadership. And the very first one is self awareness, the first leadership mirror. Self awareness is knowing what triggers you, what strengthens you, and what drains you. If a man doesn't know his emotional fingerprints, he leaves smudges on everyone he leads. So sometimes we have to sit back and think, did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? So we have to be aware of ourselves, meaning we have to know that there are moments when we may act out of character. So ask yourself, what situations make you tense? What situations make you tense? Do pressured situations make you tense where you have to meet a deadline or you have to be involved with a group of people that you're not familiar with? What are those things that make you tense? Where do you shut down? Do you ever take a moment to just shut down so you can revive yourself, so you can regroup yourself? Do you set yourself aside just for a moment so you can regroup? Where do you shine? What are those qualities in leadership that help you shine? Is it your care, your concern? What is it? What are those things that just, are you energetic? Are you able to quote unquote move the crowd? What are those things that make you shine? But this one, and this one is good for me. What emotion do you hide the most? Believe it or not, I can be honest with you. I hide fear. Fear of how my approach or how my output, if you will, is taken by others. Will it be rejected? A lot of times I try to crack jokes that may be corny to someone, may be wonderful to myself, but I try to crack jokes to try to deal with that hidden emotion of fear. And many of us have hidden emotions or emotion, may have one or many, who knows? Leadership begins with the willingness to look in the mirror, even when a reflection challenges you. What does that mean? Challenges you, your reflection. When you deal with your true self, it challenges you to make a difference in yourself before you present yourself as a leader to others. You have to, of course, and I may say this once, twice, 3 times throughout this podcast, we have to lead by example. And sometimes the best way to lead by example is looking in the mirror and understanding that I have this issue, I have this special quality, etc. So don't get it to the point, don't believe rather that this is an insult to who you are as a person. Things do happen. The second key insight, self-regulation, responding instead of reacting. Now I know I'm guilty of this. I gotta sit up. I know I'm guilty of this. Every leader has a moment where the room gets loud, the pressure gets real, and the easiest thing to do is snap. I mean, things are not going your way. You're not meeting that deadline I mentioned earlier. People are not responding the way you thought they would respond to something that you said within a meeting, or uh, if you was asked to speak at an occasion, a conference, and you didn't get the crowd's input, you didn't get the crowd's intrigue or interest, whatever word you want to put in there. So, but emotional intelligence says pause, breathe, choose the response that aligns with your values, not your irritation. Sit back and think about your core values. You make the choice to pause, take some air in, exhale some air, and then present yourself. A male leader gains strength not from control, but from controlled energy. Use your energy wisely. Say, I'm going to breathe in and I'm going to take a moment and say, you know what? Let me present myself once again. The third key insight, empathy, the strength to understand and not overpower. Brothers, empathy is not a weakness. Empathy is strategy. When you truly understand people you lead, their motivation, their fears, their wins, you can guide them with precision. An emotionally intelligent leader does not just give instructions, he creates connection. So it's important that you get involved as a leader. You say, well, look, instead of being critical and judgmental of how those whom you may lead are doing something, it could just be anything, any particular task. Get involved and say, well, why don't you allow me to assist? And perhaps when you give that assistance, they'll look and say, well, that makes sense. I'll make that adjustment. Can you show me how to do it again? I mean, a lot of things are learned by repetition. So when you get involved with uh, your company, your group, your people, whoever you are leading, when you get involved, it shows that you really care, that you're empathetic to some degree. The fourth key insight, communication, the ability to speak from the heart. This is the thing that I love the most, believe it or not. Clarity, honesty, respect. These three elements will elevate your influence. Speak with intention. Listen without preparing a defense. Communicate in a way that leaves dignity intact even during conflict. There's a very intelligent way of responding to something, including conflict. You don't have to use unmeasured words. And I call unmeasured words or words. But you ever heard somebody cuss someone out? They use a whole bunch of cuss words. It's like unlimited. They keep going. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about. But sometimes it's best to communicate in a way that says when he really cares, he's just very passionate about whatever it may be, without using words that insult my character or make me feel bad because I made a mistake. And these are the things that leaders do. They're very caring. They have a concern for whomever they lead. That way, there's no conflict, no constant debate, no argument. And we have to understand that. Speaking to someone in a very respectful, gracious way is how you build a good team, is how you lead, is how you build relationships with people. Knowing that you don't have to raise your voice, you don't have to disrespect them, but you should always show good character. This is so important. And a lot of us miss it because we are so used to being ourselves that we don't want to change for any reason at all. A lot of times when we become leaders, we become arrogant. We feel that our way is the only way. And we forget how to be practical. And we forget that it doesn't take, we don't have to complicate things. We can keep them simple. A simple conversation with someone that you lead. How may I help you? Let me show you a better way. Why don't we put our ideas together? These are things that leaders say. Because character is everything. You cannot have a good business relationship when you are very disrespectful to people, when you feel that you know everything, when you possibly don't know everything, when you disregard people, when you're not empathetic towards people. These things ruin business relationships. Pardon me for a second. So it's very important that you understand that you are human, you make mistakes. So again, let's go through those key insights for a second. There's 4 of them that I gave you. Key insight number 1, your self-awareness. The first leadership mirror is basically reflecting upon those things that build your character. Key insight number 2, self-regulation, responding instead of reacting. pausing for a moment, taking a break, taking a breather, and then responding so that your response does not jeopardize your character or poison your dignity if it's such a thing. Key insight number 3, empathy, the strength to understand and not overpower. Using that as a strategy doesn't make you weak that you care about somebody, but it also makes you a very, how can I put it, emotionally intelligent person if you take a moment to understand somebody else's fears, somebody else's motivation, and somebody else's win. And lastly, communicate. The ability to speak from the heart. Clarity, honesty, and respect is like top tier when it comes to emotional intelligence. These are the things that shall always be displayed often enough to where it builds your character and builds the characters of those whom you are leading. So with that being said, poetic, a leader who understands his feelings will always lead with healing. A man who knows his storms will guide others to calmer shores. Emotional intelligence is not a shield, it's a compass, and every leader needs one. Every leader needs one, a compass. Emotional intelligence helps you navigate through things as a leader. It helps you build other leaders or grow leaders from those whom you lead. Because leadership requires that you be in the business of making leaders, not just leading, but making leaders, showing them something, sharing something with them that helps them grow into leadership positions. That's what it's all about. I have a practical exercise I want you to use. Before this day ends, I want you to try this. It's called the 60-second IQ reset. I want you to pause. I want you to breathe slowly. While you're breathing slowly, I want you to name the emotion you're feeling. Name the emotion that you're feeling. Now ask yourself, is this reaction helpful or harmful? Is this reaction helpful or harmful? Guess you wonder what's the key behind this? Choose your response. Do not let the moment choose it for you. Choose your response and do not let the moment choose it for you. Do this for 1 week. You'll notice your leadership sharpen. You'll notice your stress lighten. You'll notice your confidence strengthen. Feels good already for me. I don't know about you all, but it feels good for me already. You were born with a rhythm, but emotional intelligence helps you play it with intention. This is the rhythm of leadership, and today we built the foundation. A leader who can manage his emotions can manage any room he walks into. Stay tuned, stay centered, and keep finding your rhythm. And I thank you for tuning in to the Rhythm of Leadership podcast. And to celebrate the Rhythm of Leadership launch, I'm going to do a special giveaway. Anyone who connects with this Rhythm of Leadership community during the month of December will be entered into a drawing to win a free copy of one of my books. So you just have to click the link that's in the chat and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a copy of one of my books, specifically Mouthpiece, A Calm Poetic Storm. And let me tell you, this is like my very first book, very in-depth book. It tells a lot. I express a lot of things within the book that have happened in my life, as well as some things you may have experienced yourself. So feel free. The link again is in the chat, and you can click on it and join the Rhythm of Leadership community. I thank you all again for allowing me to come back on and do my podcast. And believe it or not, it acted right. Thank God. I'm very, very grateful for that. So until we meet again, stay tuned, stand as a leader, and be blessed throughout your day as well as your week. And thank you for tuning in.